Hello, my name is Raymond Garchevsky, and this is coming to you from my home here in Cave Junction, Oregon. Today I should like to speak to you of a subject of national importance. It goes to the freedom of each and every one of you who travel in your private automobile while not engaged in commerce, and therefore you are not required to have a driver's license. I have been embattled for the last 11 years with the state of Oregon and the county of Josephine. I have been arrested, incarcerated for 121 days in solitary confinement, and 7 days in general population, awaiting 2 trials. What were the subjects of the trials? I was traveling in my private automobile with my headlights with the high beams on and stopped. I had rescinded my Oregon driver's license in 1999. Until that time I had never had a citation or a charge of driving while suspended. That night I was taken at gunpoint because I charged the officer with the question if I were under arrest. He said no, so I got into my automobile and proceeded on my way with red lights blaring, showing, to the shouts of "come out with your hands up." And I was faced with several deputy sheriffs of Josephine County aiming guns at me with a laser beam dancing before my eyes. That was the beginning of a hellish experience that has lasted for 11 years. The upshot of it was that I challenged the courts to prove their jurisdiction over this living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient natural man who did not consent to belonging to the corporate government, the government which claims authority and jurisdiction over those who travel upon the highways of Oregon and the U.S. The issue is, do you need to have a driver's license to go to the store, to go to the bank, to do your chores? If you are not engaged in commerce, the law clearly says that you are not. And that has been my position for the last 11 years. I went to 2 trials. The juristic person, the straw man, whose name is spelled in all capital letters, similar to my real name in capital and lowercase letters, was convicted in both trials. But throughout some 20-plus hearings and 2 trials, I challenged every judge in Josephine County, plus one that was brought in from Jackson County, because they ran out of judges in Josephine County to handle my case, to prove that their fictional courts, and all courts are fictions, believe me, but don't believe it, take it as truth, and investigate for yourself. I challenged their fictional status to prove jurisdiction over this living, breathing, flesh and blood man. They could not answer the question, they would not answer the question, and they have not answered the question for these 11 years. As a result of that, I have filed UCC liens against countless Oregon officials, and no one will answer that question, therefore leaving them in default, commercial default. to the tune of millions of dollars, of taxpayers' dollars. That brings us up to the present. I should like to read to you a recent letter, one written today, April 15th, 2014, addressed to Judge Jack Davis, the traffic court judge of Cave Junction, Oregon. I say to him, "Sir, I received this day a copy of your decision in care of George McElroy. Now I would like you to read the following URL addresses to get a full picture of what this is all about." So the first one would be http://www.arkenterprises.com/UCC LETT7.jpg. Your judgment, I say to him, stands null and void and has no force of law behind it. Forgive my bluntness, but you, sir, are either an incompetent lawyer and a judge, or you are a criminal. I say this because you are well aware that you, as a fictional judge of a fictional court, do not have jurisdiction over this living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient, natural man, who, without his consent or contract with the corporate government of being a member of such that you represent, I, as a secured party, creditor, and holder in due course of the debtor juristic person Raymond Ronald Karchevsky, a name spelled in all capital letters, sent paperwork accompanied by my sworn affidavit challenging you to prove jurisdiction over this living man by your answering point by point those challenges, accompanied by your sworn affidavit upon your own personal, unlimited commercial liability. See Josephine County Sheriff's Department report, engaged in active terrorism against travelers. http://arkenterprises.com/JocoTerror, that's JOCOTERR.html #terrorism, all in capital letters. And the report, a remedy for public officials who have disdain for the law that they are sworn to uphold. It is a notice of default, an opportunity to cure. The URL address is http://arkenterprises.com/JocoRem, that's JOCOREM, the numeral 1.html #remedy with a capital R. All were sent prior to the traffic court date of March 19th, 2014. And such paperwork was my testimony. It is you, sir, who have defaulted commercially by not rendering your answers to my affidavit, accompanied by your own affidavit. And by such default, you have thus established the truth of my position and its ultimate judgment. At the bottom of this communication, I would like you to see the maxims of the Commerce as cited below. As per agreement, in such documents, and your own default prior to the traffic court date of March 19th, 2014, you, sir, along with Josephine County District Attorney Stephen David Campbell and Josephine County Sheriff's Deputy Joel Heller, all admit that my position stands as truth and judgment as per the law of commerce, and owe immediately the sum due and payable now in the amount of $2 million. Judge Davis, if you would have checked with your predecessors, you would have found that I have not paid a cent in fines, court costs, etc. in 11 years on any of the inapplicable traffic citations which apply only to drivers and not to travelers. I shall be in contact with you in the matter of foreclosure upon your assets. The maxims of commerce are as follows. Number 1, in commerce, truth is sovereign. Number 2, truth is expressed by means of an affidavit. Number 3, an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in commerce. Number 4, an unrebutted affidavit becomes the judgment in commerce. Number 5, a matter must be expressed to be resolved. And number 6, he who leaves the field of battle first loses by default. This is signed by me, Raymond Ronald Karchevsky, the secured party, creditor, and holder in due course. Thank you for your time. I wish that all Americans pay close attention to this, for it will affect them also. It is time we take back control of the country that we formed, our forefathers formed. We are no one's slave. Our judges, our public officials are our employees. They work for us. We are not their slaves. Thank you for your time.